everyone, how are you? Welcome to December Daily Day number 11. It is going down quite quickly, isn't it? And I'm so excited to be here with you today. Today I'm working on this page, which I really love. It was a white offering from this year's December Daily collection, and I used the digital file to create this paper using some mixed media Vicky Bouton paper. So the back was white and the front had some green mixed media pattern on it, but then on the white part I just went crazy with mixed media stuff. I pulled out all my greens and I made this pattern. So now I'm gonna put this page together, so let's get right into it. So I do have a reel of how I put the front page together, and I would link it below. But what I'm going to start with is I'm going to make a shaker for the back. This was inspired by Ali Edwards' page, and I'm using foam tape to put this down. I like the idea that foam tape gives a bit of depth to the shaker page and allows the sequins to shake a bit more freely. For this I kind of use a mix of acetate on the inside to prevent the sequins from coming out through the words, and also I topped the foam tape with some plastic paper. Now plastic paper is thick enough, so I thought it would have been a better foundation because I am going to layer some booklets on, well, a booklet on top of it, so I thought it needed to be a bit sturdy. And I found that the acetate as well buckles a bit, and because there is a bit of depth I didn't want the page to fall in, so I used plastic paper instead. So this foam tape is going on quite quickly. What I should have or could have done was put the acetate for the backing of this paper first before adding the foam tape, but I got excited and forgot, and this is me trying to pull it up, but then I decided it could still work, and I'm going to put it on the inside of the foam tape instead. So I cut the acetate down to about, I think it's 9.75 by 7.25 or thereabouts, and then I just fit it into the frame. So that worked out quite well in the end. I would just be very cautious to lay the acetate down smoothly, because you only get one chance at that. Just kidding. I kind of botched it a bit, and there was a bit of a buckle, but then I realized like you wouldn't see it through the layers that I had because there would be sequins on top of it, and then I put a mini booklet and pictures on top of it, so you really wouldn't know. So just a reminder for you, I didn't do my edge lift process for this one. I just went brave and I pulled off all of the backing from the double-sided tape. So if you're not really great at laying things down neatly, I would suggest doing the edge backer, which I do use for the foam tape because I learned my lesson the first time around. So here I am just getting those adhesive backings up and laying the acetate down inside. I tried to line it up. I did leave a little bit of a lip, but in the end I just laid down flat, smooth it out as best as I could, and then I just left it as is. And so this is the acetate area, and then this is what it is. So for now I'm just going to cut down the plastic paper, I believe, and then I will remove the film from the back. There's film on both sides of it, and once that is removed I decide to punch it right away, simply because I don't want to end up in a situation where I have to try and punch it after it's already affixed to the page, because that would be really difficult, seeing that there is quite a big space between both of the front and the back of this page. So once that is punched, I adhere it to the foam adhesive. I do two sides initially just to leave some space to put the sequins in a bit easier. And once those sequins are in, I choose a mix of gold and white gingerbread. I think it's called cookies and cream. I could link them below for you. And then I also use some greens, which I really love. It's just some nice light mint greens. I use some bright greens that I got as well from my local craft store, and then some mint and white with some kind of diamante type sequins. It's just, I just, you know, use green, gold, white, and all different shades and shapes. I also love these flat sequins that I just got from Pink Fresh. I feel like the party has really started when you begin to use flat sequins. And once I am finished and I'm happy with how it looks, I just remove the last two bits of foam tape. I decided to add a bit more green in the end, and a bit of the other flat sequins, because as I said, the party has just begun. And once I feel comfortable with the number of sequins in the pocket, I seal up the foam tape and I begin to work on the rest of the page. So the rest of the page actually came together quite well, because I had it in mind that I wanted to use the dark green traveler's notebook that I had from Elif Sahin. And this notebook is gorgeous, and I was just going to use it lengthways in the middle of the page, but then I felt it was a bit too long, unfortunately, and so I decided to cut it down to 4 inches by 4 inches. I was really scared, guys, because this is an out of stock item and I really love it, but I also felt like, you know, if I was gonna do them side by side like two booklets, they were a bit too big for the page, especially since I kind of didn't like how the foam tape looked. I know you can't really see it maybe from the video, but I wanted a smooth finish, so I ended up doing a frame just to cover the foam tape. And this is some white vellum that I had covering this notebook that I absolutely adore. Now I'm not gonna let that other half of the notebook waste, guys. I'll probably use it for another page later on in the month, but for now I'm just gonna hold on to it on my desk until that time comes. And I really love this cute little 4x4 booklet. It is the most adorable thing. So what I did after that, once I lined it up and I was happy with how it looked, I mean, I could have honestly just done a 4x4 on the page and it would have been gorgeous, but I decided to pair it with something. I'm not sure just yet, journaling or pictures or something. So I'm cutting down my pictures, which I've printed on my Epson printer, and they are sized at 3x3. I use all of my might to cut my pages down. I do believe I might have to change my that white replaceable bit soon, but I cut them down to 3x3, and I do this so that I would have a natural uniform white border around the pictures and the journaling formed by the pages in the traveler's notebook. And I could have embellished every page of the notebook, but I felt like it was just so pretty with the sequin background and the mixed media background that it was just fine. So once I've completed cutting down my photos, I do realize that 2 of my photos weren't completely printed, and so I do have to run again and print those 2 photos again, and I would look to see if there were any other photos that I left behind that I could add in for this spread. So once all of my photos are ready and in place, I begin to stick them into my notebook. And I also counted that I have 16 pages, but I have 8 photos that I want to use for this particular page. So I'm just gluing the photos to each page and sticking a page in between so that the pages themselves, or the book itself, doesn't have like too many pages to the back stuck together, and this way it does feel like one cohesive book. And I am lining up the photos as well to get it to have an even border around all sides, as evenly as I can with my eyesight. And once that is done, I just really embellish the front of the booklet, and I embellish the other side of the booklet to sort of balance it off. As you can see, it's quite a simple process, and I feel like having traveler's notebooks within my album is just a fun way of having, you know, more photos but the same real estate, so not taking up too much more of the page. And I also think it's a fun way of including the photos without having to embellish each, you know, portion or each photo. I am toying with putting a patterned paper as the frame to the back of this spread, just over the phone tape areas, but I feel like a pattern will be a bit too busy, seeing that I do have like the mixed media pattern and the sequins. So I decided to do a white border frame, and I cut that out with my Cricut, and then once that's cut out, I adhere it to the back of this page. What happened here though is that I measured the frame to the width of the paper, not considering the holes, and that the foam tape was to the left of the holes. So I cut down the right edge of the frame, and then I attach the left part or the rest of the frame to overlap over that area there. So that's what you're seeing right now. I'm just pulling the backing of the tape off smoothly and adjusting that so that the frame fits over all the strips of foam tape. Now once that is done all around neatly, I do take my time with this, having learned my lesson as well from my acetate, to not just eyeball it but to take my time. And once this frame is done, I like how it looks. And you know, I was toying with whether to put some texture paste and some gold bits to the back just to pair it with the front, and I had so many thoughts, and they're beautiful ideas and would all look great. And I felt like, yeah, this page was well balanced with these items, and so I decided to back my photo with just a piece of white premium paper. I was also again thinking about, you know, other things that I could embellish it with, but I feel like the white frame just kind of brings everything all together, and I love how it looks. So I'm making sure that it's centered as much as possible, and I feel like it kind of resembles I don't know, something at home, like a window frame with some pictures in it, I don't know. But I decided to use foam tape instead to put it on so that it would be about the same height of the paper as the thickness of the traveler's notebook, just so that there isn't like a forward backward sort of situation happening. So when you look at it from the top, it kind of looks like it's the same distance away. And then I'm trying to decide how to embellish this booklet, and I feel like I realized that the booklet itself is kind of opening because it is a bit thick, so I decided to create a closure with this beautiful green velvet trim that I am absolutely in love with, and I adhere it to the back of the booklet, and I bring it over to the front and adhere the front with Velcro to make a closure for the book. So I'm just adhering that to the back cover. This back cover is so gorgeous. And then I have cut down one of the square 2x2 die cuts from this year's offering, and then I also use one of the, is it pleather? It's not quite pleather, but it's probably one of the rubber adhesive stickers that were in the main kit this year. So I adhere the die cut to the ribbon and then the adhesive sticker to the top, and then this is basically it for the spread. I go on to add like a tab to the right hand photo, and I also add a number 11 to the front and a star, and I really love how the big black felt numbers look for the front of the spread. And then this really is it for the spread. So thank you so much for joining me today. See you soon. Bye.